Well, as a result of that cruddy Wood River dust separator, I just decided to get another Oneida dust deputy. I was just so tired of this not working. I checked my bag again and it's completely full. So the separator is doing nothing. I'll show you that in a minute. I haven't emptied it. I just opened it up to verify and it's full. The cheapest, it's a lid essentially that goes on your 5-gallon bucket, and it seals nice and it fits good, and the hoses connect very easily. I mean, it's super simple, but it just does not separate the dust and the particles from the vacuum. So I did get initially about this much of material in the 5-gallon bucket, and then it's been several, I don't know, it's been months, maybe 6 months since I did that, and I just checked just to be thinking that there wasn't really much growing in there. I checked my vacuum and sure enough, it's completely full. So I went through another bag and it's needing to be changed out. So done with it, forget about it. Save your money, don't buy one of those Wood River things, it's a waste. I would just simply go with the Oneida because it's so good. I know the only issue with the Oneida is the space it takes because of that Cyclone part at the top. So I'm having to figure out how I'm going to put this in. And this is kind of like the original reason as to why I didn't originally get it. It was the space that it took for that Cyclone part, and I wanted to see if it would be any good compared to my Oneida and see if I could maybe save some money. So I got the cheaper one. I got the one that doesn't take up any space. I mean, it's really, really compact, but nothing, doesn't do anything. So I'm kind of forced to get this again. And, my filters or my vacuum bags are going to be happy I did, because they're going to be, I won't have to go through them every 4 or 5 months or whatever, 6 months. So that's good. Save the environment, save some coin. But yeah, they've changed a couple things on this guy. I think this lid's a little bit different from the one I have. I think I have like the original version of this. Other than the lid, I believe everything is the same. I could be wrong on this lid. It could actually be the same, but I cracked mine. So I'm going to actually put this one in my Workbench where I use it every day, essentially. And I'm going to use the cracked one. I'm going to try to seal it up and make sure it's good. And I'm going to put that on my drill press table. Since I don't use, there's a couple of reasons. One is that the fine dust isn't so bad. And the other reason is that I don't use it as much as the sanding or the Workbench table. So if you hear noise in the background, that's my 12-year-old that just got a saxophone. He's doing saxophone lessons, and he just got it yesterday. So that's him. It's actually not that bad. It sounds pretty good, but it's funny to hear that coming from his bedroom, especially since he's supposed to be in school right now. In any case, so I just wanted to show you, after all said and done, I know you've probably seen my video on the Cyclone separator and how disappointed I was. So I'm sure it's not a surprise that I just went out and got this. So I could have gotten just the Cyclone part, and that was $50. Now, I decided to get the whole thing because I wanted to have the connections to it. I wanted to have some extra 5-gallon buckets, those casters if you want to put them on casters. So I just kind of wanted to have the whole thing. I needed another lid anyways, so I figured I might as well get the whole one. And this was on sale for $90, so normally it's $100, but I got it for $89.99. And so, it's $40 more than the other one. Probably it's not worth that extra money. For most people, they could probably get by, but I went ahead and did it anyways, especially considering I already had a 5-gallon bucket. But I did get some the hose with it as well. So, you get all this stuff with it. And I don't exactly know what you get with the DIY kit. Actually, I didn't really see. I just know you get the Cyclone part and obviously the gasket and that stuff. But as far as anything else goes, I don't really know what you get. It's funny they show black hoses, which, I mean elbows, but it's actually, they're clear now. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and find some space. And while I was there, I went ahead and grabbed this as well. So this connects to my my vacuum to my bandsaw, the 14-inch bandsaw, and I needed another one of these because I didn't have one. And this actually came with these two connections. This is kind of nice. I mean, you know, connects to the hose there. And this is kind of a wide mouth one. So this is actually useful, especially if you're routing and you need a big gulp of air essentially. So this is a really cool thing to put next to your router bits if you're doing routing on the table without dust collection. This is not bad. So I'll definitely be using these, but I already connected this. Just wanted to show you that. I do like that. I like how it can shrink and then get bigger. So, all right, well that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can figure out some space for this guy. I need to figure out my dust deputy because this guy's not working and I don't have a lot of room left in my bag since it's getting full. My vacuum, because that's not working. I need to get my dust deputy figured out because it's a lot of holes and it's going to fill up the bag for sure. So I need to figure out how I'm going to use this dust deputy here. This is going to be the issue, right? The actual vertical requirements for the dust deputy are much greater than that. That guy does not have a Cyclone part at the top. And that's the part of the dust deputy that works real well, but it takes up a lot of room. Okay, so now I've got the dust deputy there. You could see how much taller it is than the other one. I mean, clearly. So definitely a drawback, but the fact that it works really well, you kind of take the good with the bad. Now, there's probably other options. I'm sure there are some, but I can't think of any. And I kind of need to get this thing going so I can get working. I think if I took that shelf and instead of had storage underneath, I could actually drop that shelf down in order to house this thing. That's probably going to be the, you know, what I end up doing. Even if I made a cutout in the shelf to drop the 5-gallon bucket down into, then that would probably be cool. Then all I would have to do is pull up the bucket when I need to empty it, but all my connections and everything would be right there, so it would share that same spot. It's just going to, you know, I'll have the circle cut out of it. I think if I strategically put that circle in there, I don't think it would take too much structure out of that if I left, you know, a little bit on that outside. So that might be what I need to do. Tiny amount of shavings. Just pathetic. Okay. I am going to give this a little extra space. So when I cut this circle out, because this thing's tapered, all right, so in order to get that guy cut, I need to take the stuff underneath because I'm going to take my jigsaw and just go around this guy. All right, so to access or drill this guy out, I have to drill an access hole. So I'm going to drill a 1/2 inch hole, no problem. All right, that thing was not tight. All right, let's see how it goes. I should have started with a dust mask. Man, that is dusty. It really needs to be just a little bit deeper because the hose is right here and I want it to be a little lower. So I need to adjust this guy so it just goes a little deeper. Lovely. So basically I need to take off about a 1/4 inch off of this guy. All right. Oh boy, that was good. So that, in theory, would be what would be connected there. So that could be like that. Okay, so I've got this thing all set up here. I'm actually gluing that crack on the other lid, so I'm actually using this just so I can drill out these doors, if I can drill them. So I've just got this thing, that lid on there temporarily. I'll replace it with the new lid, but everything else is the same. I'm going to keep it down here without that sub bucket. I like the way this works, so I can just grab this thing and lift it up when I need to remove it for emptying. So it's great. This whole thing is really great. The top of the counter is up here, so even with the hose on, it doesn't interfere. So that's nice as well. Got the elbow. Now this one came with the elbows. I don't believe my other one, the original one, did, so that's nice. If it did, I didn't use it, but I'm going to use this one for sure because it makes that nice bend, so it doesn't fit in my cabinet, so perhaps it did come and I just never used it. But that's going to be great. Now, as far as the hoses connecting here, I can use the original one that I had used before, which is cool. It fits my vacuum perfectly. But I can also use this guy, which is the one that Oneida gives you. So this is a interesting deal here. There's no smooth part for you to put on your tool. So it just kind of goes in the vacuum port, but it doesn't give a real good seal on it. So it's a little bit strange. And I don't know if that's what it's made for, but either way, it doesn't matter. I'm going to use my original one. But I also have this guy here that I hardly ever use because it's so massive. And frankly, if you just touch it wrong, it'll kink up and starve the vacuum. So what I was thinking was if I wanted to take this, I could actually reduce it because these come off. You unscrew these guys and it's reverse thread. So you unscrew them and you can cut it to whatever length you need. So this is an ideal solution for this type of a thing where you don't know what the distance is going to be. Could be 4 feet, could be 2 feet, who knows. But the 30, it comes with a 3-foot section. It says it's 3 feet. This one's a little bit longer, so I think I'm going to go ahead and use this. It's just, I like the way it makes the connection a little bit better to the vacuum. So this thing does have a vacuum bag in there. And that vacuum bag is totally filled up. See if I can open this guy. All right. So let's take a look at this guy. So this is what it looks like after using the the Wood River dust separator. So let's see how much it separated. I'm joking because this vacuum's gained about 20 pounds, so I know it's in here pretty good. And actually, it's not that bad. Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, that's a significant amount, but you know what? I'm not going to get rid of this bag. Forget that. I'm going to keep this in there. So it's probably filled up to here, but this is such a big bag that it's nothing because I have this dust deputy connected. I shouldn't ever have to change that bag. So that will save the environment and it will save, well, frankly, money. These things aren't cheap. All right. So that's cool. When I plug the drill press in, I bring it around the front and it actually helps hold it as well, since the hose will actually go in front. So you can see that's a great connection right there. There's really nothing you can do that would make it better, in my opinion. I think that's a really good system there. So this hose, if it could be a little more flexible, maybe it could reduce this space, but you know what? I think it's awesome. Totally stoked. All right, and now you can see it's pretty much in there with the wheels kind of sitting down there in that crack. I could actually bring this forward a little bit more to make this space a little greater, and that would even drop it more. But I think it's actually pretty good where it's at. So this is it right here. This is the one that didn't work. So you can see it's just a cap on the bucket. And I really wish this thing worked. I don't know why, you know, I can't even imagine people using this thing because it just doesn't work. It doesn't do much for you. The only thing it does for you maybe is maybe makes your filter, or your gives you more capacity in your drum. I guess it would probably overflow into the 5-gallon bucket at some point. I don't know. Now you see it with the dust deputy in there. Check that out. Isn't that cool? That thing is awesome. So it just sits down there, and frankly, that is a great setup. It is. And I've got this, those big chains there so that this won't fall in an earthquake. You know, while I'm over here messing with my drill press, there is something that I wanted to do. When I use this, I oftentimes use my right hand to drop it down and drill, but a lot of times I want to use my left hand as well. But because I don't have anything on the left side, I don't usually use it. But when you look at my throw of the drill press, what ends up happening is this guy here, this handle, that never gets used because I don't want to start from there, right? I always start from up here and or the far back one, but never this one. So why don't I take this one and put it on the left side? Doesn't that make sense? It kind of makes sense to me. So I can definitely take this guy and put it right there. These things just thread on like that, and then when you get it tight, they're easy to take off. So now I can do it with my left hand as well as my right. Awesome. That's something that I don't know why. At some point I had it just on the left, but then I realized that I like the right too. So being that I'm ambidextrous, it's kind of nice to have it on both sides. I love my drill press table. This is something that I made a long time ago, and I tell you, it's awesome. Just one of those things that really is well thought out, and it works great. There's nothing fancy about it. Well, I guess there is. It is kind of fancy, but it's not. This isn't like something that would be like really crazy to build. This was a super easy build, and you don't need to have this insert, by the way. I think this is one of those things that I don't think I would necessarily do again if I made this again. This is just, in my opinion, something that I don't use much, and I guess it's just everybody's personal preference, but I can change this out if I want to. I have a couple spares, and I can reverse it so that you can use the other side since it's rectangular. That's another thing that was nice, is that I made it rectangular. But yeah, I mean, really, this is one of those things that I think it really makes a drill press so much more useful. Even though this table has those extensions that come out, they're kind of nice, but they only come out sideways, so you don't get a lot of support on material. Plus, it's cast iron, so if you're going, let's just take for instance this job right here. I would never want to set these on cast iron tables for the drill press, right? You would never want to do this because you're going to scratch it. So even putting it on this, I'm a little bit nervous about it. So I'm going to put some like shop towels down on it just to protect it. But I can't imagine putting something like that on the cast iron. So having this top is really nice. And I just, I used cherry because I had it. Cherry for this and cherry for the fence. So these are things you can do with pieces of wood that you don't normally have any use for. That piece of cherry came from a piece of furniture I was building, had extra, so I just went ahead and grabbed it, and couldn't be simpler. Now it doesn't have to be cherry, but it's kind of nice to have that. It's pretty cool wood. Yeah, I can't wait to fire this up and actually feel like I'm collecting a lot of dust in this thing. So I'm pretty stoked.